guys, oh my goodness, this chapter was unbelievable. Boku no Hero Academia 114. When I saw that color page, I knew it. I was just like, Horikoshi, the stuff which you're going to show us in this chapter is going to be lit. And that's literally what we saw in this chapter, because Toga. Okay, I'm getting straight into it, guys. So if you haven't read this chapter, you've got a couple of seconds while I'm rambling to stop this video, read the chapter, then come back. Now, we're going in. Toga is a traitor. Now, she's not the traitor, not that I know of. But Toga is basically an infiltrator into Shiketsu. She was basically shapeshifted Caimie, you may call her. And she's got Izuku, Deku, Midoriya, got Deku's blood. This is big, guys. Now, Horikoshi's just a mad riot. I've been missing, like, Shigaraki. I've been missing these guys. That color page was awesome. One of the best color pages I've seen in a while, I'm not gonna lie. Now, well, not the best in a while. Basically, every color page Horikoshi releases, it's always straight flames. It's always fire. You guys know that. But I really do love Shigaraki's design. I may have said it before, but I really do love his character design. And I know that a lot of Boku no Hero fans, they are an immense fan of Toga. They do call Toga best girl. So yeah, color page with Toga and Shigaraki, you can't go wrong. You generally cannot. So, yes, let us discuss Toga being a shapeshifter. That's her quirk, we finally found out. And basically, Toga's quirk of, I believe it's called Metamorphosis. She can shapeshift into anyone by ingesting their blood. Now, before we actually get into the meat of the chapter, we need to talk about, like, how serious this actually is, like, how big this is for the whole series, and I'm really liking it. Before I do get into that, I just want to talk about just the overall general consensus of what just actually happened and what just went down, in structurally speaking. Last chapter, we found out that the conclusion, like, the exam was finished, last chapter. Now, if this was like a typical shonen, or just like in the previous arcs, there was always a die-down. Like, something always died down of the arcs. Like, for example, I believe when it was the training arc when they were fighting against the teachers, after that, didn't they go shopping or something like that? Stuff like that, like Horikoshi and a lot of mangas, they always do a couple of buffer chapters just to let things die down before it gets escalated again. We didn't see it happen in this chapter. We saw it go straight in. Now, I do believe that is due to a couple of reasons. One, Horikoshi, I do feel like chapter by chapter, he's a guy who likes to improve his writing, and not just improve his writing, his style of work, and his art. Like, if you can look at chapter 1 of Boku no Hero and now look at this chapter artwork, like, differences. But I do feel like he done this, like, showing us with the villains and showing a high escalation due to a lot of how people received this current arc, this previous arc. And I'm not one of those people. I know a lot of people did find this exam arc a little bit dragged out. I do think a lot of people did find it a little bit bland, and I think that is valid just in comparison to the previous arc, and that was, of course, All Might versus All for One. So whenever you're coming from that arc and you're coming into a situation where the stakes aren't as high and it's not as hype, obviously people are going to feel a little bit like they're not getting as much hype and entertainment as they did from a couple of chapters before. So I do feel that Horikoshi, this chapter was necessary to get people like, oh snap, it's getting real again. Because people do tend to forget about, you know, the greatness that is Boku no Hero. Like, the villain alliance, is generally one of the best parts of Boku no Hero, just in general. Mainly the villains. Like, Horikoshi is amazing with his villains, and I do feel like some of the fans may have to be reminded of that. Because Boku no Hero does go dark sometimes. It really does. And with this chapter, it was just refreshing people's minds. And I can tell you, when people read this chapter, they're going to get hyped. Like, people on YouTube, the reactions, everyone's going to be getting back into this chapter. Because they're going to be like, oh, the exam arc's done. We're going to be getting into some villain kind of stuff. Now, you could obviously see that as being a little... Some people may not like that, of how, like, some people view different arcs differently and hyped. But that's just, like, the way it is. Like, it's just inevitable. So let me get aside from that. Now, the implications of Toga actually having Deku's blood. One, the fact that Toga does have Deku's blood, Toga can now shapeshift into Deku. And this is the big thing, not story-wise, I'm talking from a reader's perspective. Because I really do like what Horikoshi has done with the traitor. in the mist kind of thing. It's gotten the readers thinking. Literally, we do not know from this whole thing about shapeshifting ever since Caimie, whatever you may say, and now especially from this chapter, what is really solidified in the series of Boku no Hero is that you literally cannot trust anyone, because anyone can be a traitor. Anyone can be like a wolf in sheep's clothing. And we've seen it. We saw it obviously Caimie with Uraraka, which is actually Toga. Now, who knows who Toga is going to shapeshift next? We don't have a clue. So literally every chapter that we'll be reading in the future, we're going to have to be thinking, looking out for stark differences. After this review, I'm obviously going to go back in the previous chapters to see if anything was off. Obviously, it's going to be extremely hard because we haven't seen Toga shapeshift, but I'm going to go back and see. I want to know more of Toga's personality, because we know that Toga likes to learn more about that person, and obviously that's because Toga wants to know more about the person she's going to shapeshift. So she was like to Uraraka, you're very well trusted. Now that implies that I do think Toga does have Uraraka's blood. When Toga did fight Uraraka, Toga used a knife and cut her hand, was it? Or maybe it was her cheek. I can't remember, but I do think Uraraka got cut. So the fact that Uraraka is well trusted, now I do feel like Horikoshi gave us a big hint right there. Because I do know a lot of fans were actually thinking Caimie was Toga. A lot of people did know that. So props to you guys on that, because definitely I didn't see that coming. But yes, so maybe Toga will shapeshift into Uraraka next, because Uraraka is a well trusted character, and a lot of people may not see that coming. So, yeah, maybe that may happen. Guys, tell me your thoughts comment below about that. What do you think Toga may do with Deku's blood? I know Toga can also shapeshift into Deku to maybe talk to All Might and maybe, kill All Might. Like, honestly, who knows? The thing is, this is deep. Like, the villain alliance, they are no joke. They will kill people. Like, in All For One, literally, if it wasn't for... What's his name? Where's my boy Best Genius, the real MVP? If it weren't for him to pull everyone at the split second, Gang Walker, Mountain Lady, Tiger, they would have been dead. Like, these villains are not joking, so like, it is serious. So, yeah, the possibilities of Toga coming in, shapeshifting into Deku, maybe killing someone and framing Deku, or even killing All Might, it is possible. And obviously All Might 1 can be very probable. Obviously, the death flags of All Might has been lowered significantly, but it doesn't mean that All Might may still be alive for the rest of the series. Who knows what will happen to him? Who knows? Maybe, obviously, Shigaraki hates All Might. Shigaraki also hates Deku, so maybe, like, Toga will shapeshift and kill one of Deku's family or something like that. We'll have to find out next couple of chapters. But honestly, like, I'm excited, man. Like, the theories, just to think, what do you guys think? What the villain alliance will do. What I did find was quite important is that the villain alliance, just as Class 1A, just as they are improving, and just as the hero side, they're really reacting to All Might's retirement. Like, they are improving their more examinations, more strengthening of their quirks. The villain alliance aren't just sitting still as well. They're improving themselves as well. Like, I reread the chapters before when All For One was just like, him leaving Shigaraki was the perfect time for Shigaraki to grow, and that is true. Like, Shigaraki at this point in time, his anger is going to help him fuel his growth. See what he's been doing, like, just in these couple of pages, in the way, Shigaraki wasn't talking, by the way. It was, what's his name? The clown guy, I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but the clown guy, you guys know who I'm talking about, with the face, and the compressed quirk, man. The way that he was talking, like, they seemed a lot more organised underneath Shigaraki, and Shigaraki's obviously done that. He's obviously stepped up a lot, and he's taken the whole reins, because before that, he wasn't really in the mood for having comrades. Like, he wasn't really thinking about that much, but you can just tell from this chapter, that organisation, the villain alliance, has definitely gotten a lot stronger together, with their just with their connection and just their relationships, you could say, and their contact. So that is something to talk about, and it's actually really interesting, because I can't wait to see all of them back out in the next arc. What's happening? That's the thing. Like, who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of chapters? Are we going into like a traitor infiltration arc? When I first saw that, bear in mind, you guys have to realise that the fact that Toga did shapeshift into Caimie, and the hairy guy, he says that Caimie's been acting strange for the past few days. This means that Caimie has been kidnapped. Either Caimie is dead, or she's being kidnapped by Toga and the Villain Alliance. We have no clue. She can be dead, it's extremely probable. The only possibility of her being alive and of her just being kept hostage is, I only think that's true if Toga's quirk relies on like of her shapeshifting. Maybe if it's not permanent, then maybe Toga would be keeping Caimie alive just to, you know, keep taking her blood. Maybe something like that. I'm not really sure. Or maybe, you know, Shigaraki, they're holding them ransom to do something because they also want to crumble. Because bear in mind, they don't just want to crumble UA. They want to crumble all of the hero society. So all of them will be taken down. All of them would want to be taken down by you know, the Villain Alliance. So yeah, I am hyped for that, because if it is a hostage kind of thing, then we would obviously be going into like a rescue kind of arc. I'm not really sure, but bear in mind these guys have got they've got their badge now. They've got the license, so they can obviously take the heroism into their own hands. Obviously, except Bakugo, Todoroki, and Inasa. Now, in the previous chapter, I was also talking about Inasa and his character development. If he's still going to stay true, if he's still going to be at the focus of this series, and I do believe he is. Inasa, Todoroki, Bakugo, they're the powerhouses of the series. Imagine that. Obviously, of the young heroes, not of the pros. They're the powerhouses of the young heroes of their peers, pretty much. So the fact that obviously they didn't pass, I'm shocked that Bakugo didn't pass, but it's valid. Like, I'm not surprised. It makes sense that he didn't pass. Yeah, they're gonna retake. Obviously, they've got like a test in March, I believe, and then they'll retake. So there is possibility. I really did like that, because the fact is that, if you notice, the people that did fail didn't mean that they're less strong, their abilities are weaker than the people that passed. Like, look at Todoroki, or like Bakugo, they're more qualified than like Mineta or some of the other people. It's just their flaws. They lost. It was the certain things that made them fail. But that's why they weren't obviously kicked out of the exam, because they did have shining moments, and it did give them promise of being good heroes. So in the future, obviously, Bakugo, Todoroki, Inasa, these guys are they're gonna be massive. They're gonna be absolutely big. So yeah, the future, like, the sky's the limit for them. And with everyone else passing, it's awesome. Deku, that was amazing. I really did love that, because with Deku, I feel like a lot of people can relate to Deku, just as in general, and just especially through this chapter, because like, he's had so many trials and like going through injuries and that. This is like the first thing he's done. It's his solidified step into becoming a hero. It's his first thing he's done by himself, by his own might and his own power, that he's done to actually achieve and like show a hint of success. Like, he didn't do this with anyone else's help or by relying on someone, and he wasn't doing this, like, he didn't fall onto this by accident. So I really did love that. That panel was amazing, and there's a lot of feels for them fans, just like bringing back the memories when you know, back when Boku, when Deku was at the start, you know, on the beach clearing stuff up for those, what, 6 weeks, or was it 6 months? So like, yeah, that was crazy. So next chapter's gonna be lit. Like, the color page was phenomenal. I have no clue, guys. Do you think please have a comment below. Do you think next chapter will be something like going straight into the Villain Alliance coming in, or is it going to be like something? Because the color page, they say lurking behind the shadows. So do you think we're going to go into like another arc, something quiet down, with, you know, the trait of being in the mist, like being at the background of whatever of the setting, something like that? I don't know, guys. Tell me your thoughts, comment below. What do you guys think about the people that passed and the people that failed? My boy Tokyo made it, so you know, all is well. Next chapter is going to be lit. Tell me, you guys, everything about Toga, Villain Alliance. Let's go. Shigaraki, subscribe for weekly reviews of Boku no Hero. And if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, which should be on the left or the right of the screen. And if you haven't, check out my previous review of Boku no Hero, Shigaraki. Goodbye, guys, and peace out.